Welcome back to the podcast, everyone. Today I'm with the final guest from the Capitol Hill Block Party series. They just wrapped up yesterday. And also, funny enough, you said you performed right before Neptune?
Not right before, like 2 artists before. There was one person in between us.
There we go.
Yeah.
I'm here with the Della. They're from Canada.
Hi.
Right? Canada?
Yeah.
So,
I grew up in Canada.
But you live in the States?
I am a bi-coastal honey. I was born in Boston.
Okay.
Grew up in British Columbia in a very small town called Nelson, which most people don't know where it is.
I know Nelson. No, I'm just kidding.
You do?
No.
Oh, okay. I was like, so it's 3 hours north of Spokane, Washington, or 8 hours from here.
Oh, because I forget how big Canada's like huge.
Yeah, it's like Seattle's here. Nelson is like, boom.
Okay.
There. And then I just spent the last 4 or 5 months in Bed-Stuy.
Where's Bed-Stuy?
Brooklyn. Bed-Stuy.
Oh, okay. No, okay. Yeah.
I'm pretty sure Lil' Kim and Biggie are both from there.
Okay.
Some serious hip-hop legends.
Very nice.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because I was about to ask if you were part of the Canadian residency thing. There's like a thing where
yes.
Canada has their own little...
Yeah, for Capitol Hill.
Yeah.
Yes. Music BC.
So you are part of that?
I had some extra support, and yes, I think I was a part of that. Yeah, I applied for a thing online, and then they were like, "Yeah, you've been selected."
Okay.
Yeah.
That's how I met some of my artist guests from last year, like Box Raya. They're from Vancouver, and they were part of that thing.
Nice. I'm about to meet them for the first time.
Really?
Because we're in this program called ARC, which is another Music BC thing. There is a crazy amount of support and money and energy that goes towards artists in Canada that I'm very grateful for.
Wait, so you're able, even though you're you said bi-coastal?
Bi-coastal.
Because you're literally on 2 coasts?
Well, I say that because I love the East Coast and that's where I was born, but I grew up in the West Coast and I'm very much a resident of British Columbia, but I always need to go to the East Coast to get that East Coast flavor. For the music that I make, I love New York and I love Brooklyn.
Wait, what's the actual word for just living in 2 countries though? That's not, what is that called?
By
something. By country.
Well,
by country. Hello here.
I'm by all through the map. You know what I'm saying?
There we go.
I eat meat. I eat vegetables.
Wait, so you're actually meeting Vox Raya? That's awesome.
Yeah, I think I'm pretty sure they got selected into this program as well. Yeah, because their name keeps coming up.
I love those guys. They've been on the show.
Yeah, I saw that.
I helped them do a show in South by Southwest.
Oh, wow.
And then literally the week after South by, they came to Seattle and I hosted them at my friend's house to do a house show.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so we're very
so
we're
fun.
this.
Oh, that's so cool. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that they're in the program as well.
Fuck yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Cool.
And then how did you get involved with Capitol Hill Block Party?
Yeah, so literally I'm pretty sure that I filled out an application. This year has been the year of filling out things and then randomly being sweet, it worked, I got it. A lot of no's, but some really powerful yeses. And Capitol Hill Block Party was brought to me through Music BC, which is the same organization that's putting together AMP, which is another artist accelerator support program. Yesterday I literally flew from Buffalo, New York to Seattle. I left Buffalo at 6 a.m. to get to Seattle at 11 a.m. to perform at 3 p.m. And I was very stressed about it. It was the first time I've flown and sang on the same day. I was literally in the airport, warming up. So needless to say, no, I don't have a manager. Yes, sometimes I do ask people to help me out.
Yeah.
But yeah, fully self-managed, fully self-booked. I just left the label that I signed to put out the album that hopefully you're aware of.
Yes.
Of course you are, because you did your research. Because we just
it was 2022, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Good
See,
one.
I know stuff.
Yeah. I used to know stuff and things. So now I'm fully independent, no label, no manager, no booking agent. So now I own all my own shit, and that feels really great.
Cool.
Yeah.
Is that the first label you're part of? Or?
That's actually the second label that I ever signed to. So before I was the Delicate, I used to go by Erica D.
Yes.
Yeah. Oh my God. That's so cool that you know that. And under that name, I signed with a good friend of mine's label. He is DJ Word, and he is an amazing turntablist. He does a night. He's from Berlin. And he has a small record label, which is basically just him helping his homies put out music called Long Lost Relative. And they're based in Berlin. And in 2016, I put out an album called New Skies with them. And he actually like produced all the music after I had somebody else produce it and decide like I didn't like it. And then he basically like took the stems and just like remixed the whole record. So that is technically my first record deal. But also there were so many mistakes on that one too. It's so hard.
Yeah. But do you like doing your own thing, or do you want that family aspect?
I mean, I would love to have a team 100%. Like, but if anything, especially this year with all of the like artist accelerator programs that I've done, where I've just learned so much about what it takes to be on top of it when it comes to releasing music and touring and everything, I just feel like I'm not so much in a rush. Like before I was like, oh, I'm so sick of being like a solo artist, solo managed, like solo. It'd be so nice to have a team. But then it's like, I can't just rush into anything. It's like a relationship. Like you're not going to like.
Gotta take on a few dates.
Yeah. You can't just like marry somebody before like figuring out like what they like to eat for breakfast or whatever.
You DJ or is that like you're a scratch DJ or like you're like a mixing DJ?
I mix. Okay. Definitely mix. Definitely selector. Definitely like Vibe Patrol. Vibe Patrol. Yeah, I started DJing when I was like very inspired by my ex-girlfriend when I was like 20. At the time, I only DJ'd like culture reggae and dancehall, like Richie Spice, Egyptian, like all the like, you know, feel good reggae tunes, and then like Beanie Man and Collie Buds. But then also I was like super gay at the time. So I was like, let me just make sure none of these songs are saying terrible things about Bati Boys. So like I was like, yeah, it was an interesting moment because I was like, I am a white lesbian DJing dancehall music. Like, what am I doing? But I really loved the music. So I was really inspired by like Caribbean culture and that whole vibe. And then, yeah, that was like quite a while ago. And then I started like throwing parties and first I got booked for a reggae party in Vancouver, which was sick. This guy was dropping off a flyer. I was working at a restaurant at the time and I was like, hey man, if you ever need like an opener for the opener, like I'd love to play. And he was like, yo, why don't you just play this party? And I was like, really? And he's like, yeah. And at the time I didn't know how to beat match, but I just like had a bunch of awesome like remixes. I really love like the hip hop, like rugga crossover remixes and like instrumentals. And I just like showed up there.
Popular in the early 2000s. For sure.
Yeah. So that was like 2007 or something. Like, no, 2006.
Little Wayne did a lot of that stuff.
Yeah, like super old. Yeah. So I'm so old.
I wasn't trying to date you. I'm just saying I like that era of music.
Yeah, exactly. Right? Like the Fugees, like there's like so many sick remixes. Anyways, I got booked for this party. I showed up. I was playing on CDs.
Okay.
Like that was my thing. I had like, you know, all my BPMs like written out and everything.
Wait, on a CD you said?
Yeah, I was playing like CDJs.
Oh, I thought you meant like a little like CD.
No. Like CDJs. But like my first like DJ controller was like this really boxy Newmark one that I remember was like $300. It was like literally just like this huge thing, and like you could like do this to like speed up the track or like use the faders or whatever.
Yeah.
It was crazy. But anyways, that party literally changed my life because I showed up there, I killed it. I had all these instrumentals. There happened to be all these MCs in the house. I was like singing and rapping and like guesting all these other people, and then homeboy paid me $50 and I was like, what? This is sick. And then I started DJing more and I realized like, wow, like being a DJ, like I could actually pay for being a singer by DJing. And then eventually I started working with this other artist, which actually my first Seattle show was with her probably like a couple years later, maybe around 2009 or something.
Were they from
Sea
Seattle?
Monster.
Ooh.
Do you know that venue?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's like up the street, sick. Right?
Probably.
I think that's the one like up the street.
It's like this small, cute little seafoam room. Like it's literally like, yeah, so cute. And that was through my homie Isaac, who plays saxophone with Clinton Farron. He's like,
I know Clinton Farron.
Yeah, so there you go, Seattle. No, the other artist, her name is M3. She used to be in a like hippie jam band called Wasabi Collective, and she raps and sings and plays like crazy percussion. She's like a very talented percussionist, and so she always wanted to do this project where she got to tour with like a DJ. And then because I also sing and rap, the two of us were just like, boom, dance party, let's go. And she had like timbales, congas, bongos, hand sonic, percussion tree. Like her shit took up like half of the stage and filled up an entire van, like so many instruments. And then I had my like CDJs and my mic, and that was it. And then the two of us would do this big dance party. But she was like, you know, at the time it was like reggae and hip hop. And then she was like, girl, like, we can't just, I need a percussion. I need to play percussion over some like 4 on the floor. Like we need to do some house shit. And at the time I was like, oh, cool. Like I've been singing over house since forever. So then I remember like looking up like house music to DJ, and I was just like Googling like house music. I'm like, Benny Benassi. Okay.
Yeah.
But yeah, so needless to say, I've been DJing almost as long as I've been singing.
Damn, do you still DJ?
I do, like underground.
Okay.
I wanted to, when I made the Delicate project, I really wanted to get like super intentional with how I make music and how I offer it. And I was feeling like really burnt out and like not inspired on just like performing for drunk and high people. Which like,
But
God
where's
bless
that
them.
usually?
So
I guess that could be anywhere, but like where were you?
like nightclubs and music festivals. Yeah.
Yeah.
So like before I was the Delicate, I was Erica D, and I would tour and sing over my DJ set. And that was awesome because like I've traveled like all over Europe. I've toured Brazil 4 times. Like I've had amazing experiences. But yeah, again, it was like I want to have like a sit down audience for once. And like I want people to care what I'm saying. And I want them to be like grandparents and kids. Like
so
all
far
ages.
sounds.
What's that?
So far sounds.
Yeah, kind of. But like more like theaters and jazz festivals. I was like, screw the rave. I want to play like New Orleans Jazz Festival. And like I haven't played that one yet, but I've played a couple and it's been really great.
Nice.
Yeah.
Cool.
And like real, like not real music, but like real humans on stage with me, like musicians.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, that's cool. But you've actually done like a lot of stuff in Seattle too. Like
I have.
There's a lot of like when you look up the Delicate, a lot of stuff that pops up is like Seattle related stuff, right?
Oh, really?
Yeah, like
That's
you've
cool.
done something for like Alma, Tacoma,
Yeah.
So Far Sounds. Seattle.
That's true.
So like,
Yeah. That's
why
so
are you
nice.
here? Why are you here all the time?
Oh my God. Honestly, I've been feeling like I need to be here more. Like,
okay, hell yeah.
well, first of all, like I live in Vancouver, right?
Or you live in Boston. You live in both.
I
I'm so
mean,
confused.
I live in Vancouver. So Vancouver is like my home base. But I just spent a bunch of time in Brooklyn. And like if I have it my way, and which I probably will, I'll live between BC and Brooklyn, like just coast to coast.
Got
I
it.
also have a sweetheart who lives in Brooklyn. So like I kind of have to be out there.
Okay.
Yeah.
You like the pen pal every once in a while or something?
Yeah, I'm like, I don't really want to do long distance. Like it's not that fun, but I will.
Okay.
But yeah, and I'll bring him out here too. But anyways, needless to say, I feel like there needs to be more of a bridge between Vancouver and Seattle.
Yeah,
like
for
the
sure.
Seattleites love Vancouver and Vancouver loves Seattle. But for some reason, it's like there's a disconnect. Like I guess I started dipping into Seattle earlier on, like even that first gig, my friend Isaac, and then he moved to New York. So then I was like, shoot, I don't really have anyone in Seattle. And then I did get connected to the Alma Mater, which is a beautiful space, an amazing program. And they had me for an artist residency.
Nice.
I think like right before the pandemic hit, actually in 2019 in February.
Damn.
Yeah, and that was awesome.
Yeah.
I taught my singing workshop, which is like really important to me and I love doing.
Yeah, because you do a lot of stuff. Like a composer, producer,
Yeah.
teacher,
Yeah.
pianist.
Yeah, I mean, I don't really call myself a pianist, but I play piano. Like,
Okay.
that's how I write. I try to play like every day when I'm not on the road, and I love playing piano. But I have yet to like, I do it,
Yeah.
but I don't do it on stage yet.
Got it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And you started making music when you were 16, and both your parents went to Berkeley.
That's right.
And then, so
Nice.
they were always like supportive of you doing music.
Yeah. My mom's always like, she's so funny. So we've lived in Canada for over 30 years, but her Boston accent is like still there. And she was like, you're living my dream. Go out there and do the thing. But before she was like, go marry a lawyer or a doctor. And I'm like, Ma, it's not me, Ma. But she used to come on tour with me all the time. She's like super supportive / like wants to be me. She's always like, am I coming? I will sing with you. Let me sing with you. I wish I was there. Always. And then my dad was actually my teacher when I went to music college, because that's how they met. He was her teacher.
Oh.
And that's why we ended up on the West Coast, because he helped start this music program in Nelson called Selkirk College Music.
Okay.
But then he ended up being my teacher when I went to music college. And then I've had him in my band like multiple times. Yeah.
Does he have a stage
It's
name?
pretty cute. Just Paul Landsberg.
Okay. Shout
has
out
a-
Paul.
You know what's crazy? Yeah, shout out, Dad. Shout out, Dad. No, Paul is so cool. He just came to visit me in Brooklyn. He's like so fun. We went and saw Butcher Brown. Do you know that group?
Butcher Brown. I don't think
They're
so.
pretty dope too. It's
What
like
are they?
jazz and hip hop. They're
Butcher
just like,
Brown?
yeah,
How
it's
do
a
I
good
not
one.
know? I know a lot
Butcher.
of jazz hip hop people too.
Yeah, Butcher Brown. They're super dope. And then he brought me to go see some other guitar player that he loves. But yeah, shout out Paul. Paul is dope. He we have a lot of fun rocking out. I feel very grateful that I've got to have him in my band. And yeah, I mean, they gave me a guitar when I was like 8, and I sang in a bunch of like talent shows, but then I didn't really like start writing songs until I was 16. And that was like after I had actually moved back to Boston.
With family
for grade
or by
11
yourself?
to go live with my mom. So my parents split up when I was 3.
Okay.
And I have a stepmom who's also a singer.
Nice.
So I have like 3 musical parents.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then in grade 11, I moved to Weymouth, Massachusetts, which is like a very hard to experience suburb outside of Boston. Like
Wait.
the movie Blow is a true story of a guy from Weymouth.
Blow's the one with what's his name?
Johnny Depp.
Johnny Depp.
Yeah.
Yeah. I still haven't seen that. It's on my list.
It's terrible.
It's not a good movie?
It's just like everything that is like sad and hard about America, I feel like.
Blow is, or the place?
The place. And probably the movie too.
Have you seen the movie?
Yeah, I think I saw it when I was a kid, but I kind of blocked it out because I was like, this sucks.
Oh.
Just like pharmaceuticals, just like really bad drugs and people just doing terrible things. And like, that's what I experienced because
That
I,
opioid epidemic was happening there?
yeah, probably. Yeah. Like all these drugs that I'd never heard of when I moved there, I was like, what do you mean you're doing Oxycontins? And like, what do you mean you're doing this? And, and like all my friends were just like, you know, stealing and being terrible friends and things. Not stealing like from the store. Like, I mean, everybody does that, but like from me, you know, and
shit.
being terrible, you know, like just being terrible.
God.
So then I wrote songs about saving the world because I was so sad. And that's basically what like started my whole entire experience and existence as an artist.
How long were you there for?
Only 1 year.
And you're like, I'm out, or what
Yeah.
happened?
And then I came back to BC to graduate.
Got it.
And then I started singing in my uncle's band.
Oh, your uncle's band? Okay, that's crazy.
Yeah, there's like so much family happening.
Okay. But then you also like are really into hip hop?
Yeah, so basically, okay, I will say this. Like some of my earliest memories and influences of hip hop music was definitely in Boston, hanging out with my cousins at the pool, listening to Jammin' 94.5. That's
Jammin' 94.5.
Jammin' 94.5. Shameless plug for Boston, Jammin' 94.5. But that was like all of the good shit. And that's when I was like a teenager. So, you know, I remember like so many songs. Like I don't even know where to start. Like everything from LL Cool J to Missy Elliott to like Maya to, you know, Aaliyah, like all that good stuff. And then my sister was also like super into hip hop. My older sister, who's actually here right now, the one that I was saying is my momager for the day.
Sistager.
Shout out to Jessica. She listened to like a lot of hip hop. She actually went through this whole like Eminem phase, which like I hated at the time.
I just watched 8 Mile for the first time.
Oh my God.
A week or two.
I
weeks
really
ago.
like that one song where he's like, so long, I don't want to go. He's like talking about killing his girlfriend. She would blast that
Kim?
song just to piss me
It's
off.
called Kim. I think it was. I think the song's actually called Kim. Yeah.
Like respect for being so expressive and comfortable to talk about terrible things, but like that definitely scarred me as a young person. I was like,
So you're not a fan of Eminem?
I mean, like I can admit that he's like a good writer and talented, but like his tone and what he talks about is not really.
Oh, he just talks about killing his mom and
Yeah, no, it's not.
wife.
It's not
What's wrong
exactly
with
what I
that?
love. Yeah, it's not what I love. But then you know she was listening to that, but also just like you know People Under the Stairs, Lyrics Born, Talib Kweli.
Talib Kweli was just in town.
Oh, sick.
He did a free show down the street from where I was staying.
Was it good?
For Juneteenth. It was
that's
crazy.
so dope.
Yeah, it
Was he dope?
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
I've seen him once and he seemed tired as hell.
Oh no.
Yeah, I was like, come on. You can't forget the words to Just to Get By.
Yeah.
But he was one of the first big hip hop shows I ever saw at Slam City Jam, I think in 2003 or something like that.
It's interesting though because he's still like he still kind of represents like underground a little bit.
Oh yeah, 100%.
So there's still a huge population of people who like hip hop who have no idea who the heck he is.
Oh yeah.
It's kind of wild to think about that.
That is true.
I was like trying to tell my friends that, dude, Talib Kweli's doing a free show and no one came. And I was like, what the like the people that like heard about the show, like
yeah.
probably like the entire black community because Seattle is like something like what is it? Like 1% of Seattle's black or something?
Okay.
Something crazy small like that.
Yeah. I kind of forgot. It's definitely different than Brooklyn.
Yeah. So like the entire community basically was at the event. But I was
that must have felt really good.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm struggling with whether I'm like a black business or a Blake business, you know?
Oh shit. What does that mean?
I don't know. I'd rather just be it's like, I don't want to like get to a point where I use the black card to get further in some right. Which is funny to say, but like, you know, there's like certain programs that are going to help as like being a minority, but also I'm like, I didn't really grow up where I really thought about race too intensely. Right. But like now that I get into different situations, like race is more prevalent.
Well, that's super West Coast thing.
Yeah, but it's weird. Like growing up until I was 18, I didn't really experience racism that I was aware of.
Right. And
then like when I started doing more, so I guess it is a West Coast thing.
I mean, I say it's a West Coast thing, the token card, because like in New York and in Brooklyn, in my experience anyways, it's like if you have talent or if you're dope, people are going to fuck with you. Yeah. Out here, it's like they have to fill a certain quota. So like even me, because I identify as queer, it's like if I tick off that box, that's probably one of the reasons why I got booked for the Capitol Hill Block Party, because Music BC has a certain, like, they work for the government, you know what I mean? And they, like, that's important. Also being Jewish, like, that's another box that I can tick off. And it's like, I feel you on that. It's like, do I want to tick off that box? Do I want to identify as those things? But it's like, if it's going to help my art get to the people, which is ultimately why I make art, and if it's going to help support me doing that work, like, I'm going to tick those boxes. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, that sucks. Like, I've definitely heard and seen some mediocre ass music because they've ticked off the boxes. And it's like, whatever happened to like mentorship, whatever happened to tough love? Because like when I first started rapping, I straight up had somebody be like, nah, not tonight. You got to go home and work on your shit. And I was like so butthurt. Like literally I was like, damn, like I was like, can I rock the mic? And they're like, let's hear you rap. And then I did my thing and they were like, nah, you're not ready. Like, go work on your shit. And like in retrospect, like that was amazing feedback. Because then I went and I like worked on my rhythm, worked on my rhymes, like worked on my tone, worked on my breath. Breath is a massive thing that I feel like West Coast rappers, I don't know. Correct me if I'm wrong. There's certain people that you're just like, dude, like, do you ever practice?
They punch in a lot.
Yeah. Like, do you need all of your vocals on your track to be able to perform live? You should probably practice, you know? But I'm also like a little bit jaded and also a singing teacher. So I'm like, okay, I watch people like not breathe properly and it's just like cringy.
I feel like hip hop shows usually suck compared to like any other type of show though. Like seeing someone rap on stage, unless it's like a full on performance, it's not that inspiring in my opinion. And like I'm like a huge hip hop fan. I have
like
a lot of people.
Rappers over beats or like
like
rappers with a band.
Like rappers with a band is cool, but a lot of it's just like rappers with behind like a track.
Yeah. You know? So what about rappers on a track? Because I feel like if an MC, which also like
is MC
still
a thing?
I would be curious. What do you think? What's the difference between a rapper and an MC?
I don't even know if an MC really.
Because like to me, an MC is more underground, and like hip hop is more underground, and then like rap is more like pop.
What's your definition of an MC though? Someone that like hosts and also raps, or like
no, like an MC to me is like somebody who's more of a melodic vocalist. But maybe that I just made it up in my own head. Like somebody who raps more melodically, or like.
So you're calling Little Baby an MC then?
I don't think so.
Little Baby's just like you don't know who Little Baby is?
No, I'm literally old.
What?
Is he new? He's new. I know who Lil Wayne is.
Little Baby is like probably like 5 to 8 years old. 5 to.
Cute.
No,
really?
not the young. Oh, no, I'm just. I'm saying like 5
You're like,
to.
He's literally a baby rapper. I'm like, well, that's great. He can be whatever he wants. Oh my god.
I mean, like he's like Little
terrible.
Baby is like been around for 5 to 8 years old. No, wait, 5 to 8 years, and like he's like the biggest like rapper in the music industry right now. Which is like weird to say. I'm not a fan.
I also don't listen to the radio, and like I kind of stopped listening to new hip hop. Like I'm down with Kendrick, for his like rhythms and what he talks about and his tone. Anderson .Paak, in my opinion, changed the game for hip hop and R&B.
Yeah.
Okay.
But you don't know. But like I feel like I
really love like Lil Sims.
But if you're like a touring artist, don't you feel like it's important to know like where? Like some industry tries to set a standard at or something?
No, because I don't really care so much about the industry, which like I know I should, but like I don't know. I was staying downtown last night and there's like the Swifties everywhere.
Yeah,
the Swifters, the Swifter picker-uppers.
What are they? Are they called the Swifties?
No, they're literally called Swifties. Not Swifters. I just like to say that.
I like Swifters better though.
Yeah, because it's like mopping, which I shouldn't say that. I mean, much respect to Taylor Swift. Again, talent, great writer. But like, I don't think I'd ever necessarily want to be that person. Like, I want to have my autonomy. I like to move around the world. Like, money's cool. But also, like, if I get a shit ton of money, I'm going to redistribute it. Like, I don't need all of that. So I guess when it comes to like modern rap and like hip hop, especially when people are just like talking about money, like it doesn't pull my heartstrings.
Oh, I know why it's relevant though, because like then if you don't pay attention to what's coming out, then you get this. I wouldn't say stagnant is the right word, but you get kind of like you get pushed into like the wayside. You know, like because if you're not, because rap is an ever evolving art form, and that's why it's my favorite art form.
Right. I mean, okay, so yes, and don't you think that rap has just gotten kind of worse since it started in some ways?
I don't think it's no. Like rap is 100, and I've had like Cool Rock Ski on my podcast, and like some like super old hip hop artists. Okay. So like 80s hip hop is the worst music to ever come off.
No, but like 2000s, 90s, like I'm talking the like swiggity swiggity swig. Swiggity swiggity swig.
But that's just open doors for other genres. There's like genres of hip hop. So like still like J. Cole and Kendrick Lamar and Drake are going to be like what the standard, not the standard, because like the standard might be like Lil Yachty at this point. You know Lil Yachty?
Yes, I know who that is.
It's like Lil Yachty might be the standard, or Juice WRLD might be the standard for like the melodic bullshit that a lot of people like try to make music now. But I'm saying like if you're actually, and but that's like its own branch of hip hop, a Lil Yachty or a Juice WRLD. But like if you look at the continuation of like a Kendrick Lamar or a Drake or an Eminem, still even, like they're on a different branch, and that's the further. Like that's when it gets actual like into technical hip hop.
Yeah. I mean, I will say this, like I definitely don't identify as a hip hop artist. Like I have made hip hop music for sure. I can rap a little bit, you know? It's a part of who I am as a vocalist, but I'm more sing my raps these days than rap my raps. And for me, like keeping up with like what's hip and what's accessible and what people like I feel like to me, music is like, it has a feeling, and like timeless music and the greats are what inspire me. And when I was making this current album, I literally had to stop listening to music. Like I did not listen to any current R&B, hip hop, nothing in English. Like I literally just wanted to like completely just like block out the rest of the world so that I could like go deeper inside. Like for me, I think the more that I look out, the less that I understand what's happening inside. And like, of course, always until I lose my voice or this physical body, like I will continuously be on a journey of just being better. Like I want to be a better vocalist. I want to be a better lyricist. I want to be a better poet. I want to be a better performer, producer, composer, like loop artist, like all of the things. And none of that to me comes from observing what other people are doing. But it does come from attending shows of those who inspire me and pull my heartstrings, which I just did a bunch of that, which is basically like why I was in Brooklyn for that time, because I was like, I need to surround myself by artists, musicians, you know, singers, composers that are better than me, and just like be uncomfortable, you know? But needless to say, like maybe that's just my excuse for not knowing Young Baby. I don't know.
Young Baby.
Little Baby.
But like I also don't understand when people say But like
what's his name again?
Yeah, Little Baby.
Yeah, nice. Okay, Young Baby.
Wow. I'm not saying go listen to his, I don't listen to his music. I'm just saying like but it's interesting because people always talk about like what's hip or what's not hip, but and then like how people get aged out of being hip. But if you look at like who is making the most amount of money, it's like people who are in their late 30s or 40s, or like even look at like Brad Pitt. How old is Brad Pitt now? He's almost 50 or 60 or something. He's timeless. But like still, those are the people who like actually make money still. Yeah. Or like Drake and Kendrick Lamar and J. Cole. Those guys are all in their like mid 30s, almost 40s also. Or Lil Wayne's almost 40. He started rapping when he was 8, so it's crazy how long his career is. So he's still relatively young as an old rapper. Yeah. You know, but like, so I don't understand what it means to be hip anymore if the people who are actually the standard are still way older than I guess there are rappers and singers or like Little Nas X is what, like 21, 22.
Yeah, that person, I know who that is too.
Yeah, but so I'm saying there are, like, it's getting more common with like social media to like become famous younger, but still there is an actual standard.
Right.
And so I don't know why hip usually relates to people that are like...
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I definitely have a culprit of just like not really caring too much about pop culture. Like I have met so many quote famous people and like people with status, like even J Period the other day, like when I met him, I didn't realize who he was at all. And I was just like so humble and just like treated him like I've treated any other human. Yeah. And like sometimes people are like, D, you should really know who that is or what did it. Like the first time I met Frank Ocean, he was like singing out of key on a out of key piano. And I was kind of like, oh, like, what? Yeah. And then my homies was like, dude, you realize I was Frank Ocean, right? And I was like, oops, I don't know. Like, you know, to me, like, I really just like follow vibes and energy. And like, that's a very hippie, like West Coast thing to say. But like, I've been in the room with like really heavy hitters in the scene. And like, if it doesn't feel comfortable, I'm like, I'm not really gonna chill, you know? So it's the same thing with music for me. Like, you know, there's a lot of new music that has been like so inspiring and like really like one of my new favorites, especially for a live show right now is, have you heard of Yusuf Days?
Yeah.
Yeah. That drummer, like so much dynamic, so much space in the music, like super talented, can flip between like everything from like hip hop to drum and bass to jazz to funk, like all in one show and just make it seamless. And like, I'm fascinated by that. I'm like, how can you make so many genres sound so good together? You know? I'm like, I'm really into just like space and depth in music. And I find that most music that ends up on the radio, it's just like, it sounds like everything else. And it just doesn't have that like underbelly to me.
But you use like Spotify and like, do you find like...
Oh yeah, Spotify.
You find like new songs on Spotify and stuff?
Oh, hell yeah. All the time. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know who listens to the radio, but also we're in Seattle, we're like... I don't know.
Actually, the radio stations here are probably some of the better radio stations. But I just mean like
really?
As far as what top
KXP
40
is cool, but like...
Right. Yeah, that is a good one.
I don't know. I don't really like the radio too much.
Like the jazz stations are always good. But I just mean like whatever is considered like top 40 and gets like charted, that style
usually
of music.
Sucks.
Yeah, for me anyways.
So what's next for you? Like you just did this Capitol Hill block party thing. Like
yeah, okay.
What do you just travel a lot? Oh. Or what do you do?
Man,
because you make music. But
I'm like so exhausted in the best way possible. This year has been so busy and so full. So I released my album last year, which means this whole, like after releasing an album, it's all about just getting the music out there. So what does that look like? You know, spending so much time on the internet, like figuring out ways to get your music heard, whether that's through social media, applying for festivals. You know, like I said, I'm totally self-managed, self-booked, that whole thing. So like sending my own music out to radio stations, sending it out to sync, like trying to figure out all the different ways. And then especially having a team that was like not able to do the things that I wanted them to do. So then this year I've just like kept leveling up my business smart as an entrepreneur, as a musician. And then what is next for me? So I am like kind of like halfway through, what is it today? I feel like I'm like 2/3 of the way through my like summer tour. So
that means you're almost done, right?
I think so, yeah.
So if you had another 1/3, it's 3.
Yeah, like I go back to Vancouver tomorrow. I play a show on Wednesday. Sunday, I fly back to New York. I'm probably going to be with your homie, Vox Rhea, for this. Like, we have like a 2.5 day artist clinic that we're doing where we learn more about the music business.
In Brooklyn, you said?
In Vancouver.
Wait, so sorry, you're going to Vancouver and then you said you're going to Brooklyn or Boston?
Brooklyn.
Then you're going to Brooklyn,
so
and then you're coming back to Vancouver?
Yeah, it's crazy.
Do you ever worry about your economical footprint?
Oh my God. I do worry about it. This year has been terrible for that. That's why I'm like really looking forward to not flying for a little while.
Yeah.
But yeah, so go back to Vancouver, play a show, do this artist clinic, fly to New York, play a show in New York with some of my favorite humans ever. Something else that's really exciting, like I said, I spent all this time in New York being around amazing musicians. Then I got some of my favorite musicians in the world in one room together, and we re-recorded 2 of my songs from my album.
Nice.
Live versions, like straight off the floor. One of them is Comfortable. The composer arranger is this wonderful angel of a human named Lawrence Fields, who is like such an incredible human and a phenomenally talented piano player. So one of them is just me and piano. The other one is like full band, also with a singer named Safa, who is bloody brilliant. She's just like, literally when I hear her voice, I melt. And I met her because she sings with Esperanza Spalding. And like, she's so good. And she's just like such a nice, kind, genuine human. So like all of us got in a room, recorded these 2 songs. So I'm going to release those with a video sometime in the fall. I'm actually releasing a remix of Baby Blue on Friday of this week. It'll be the first remix off the album.
Hell yeah.
It's with this producer duo named Potato Head People that are also from Vancouver.
Nice.
I know. Sick name, right?
Yeah.
Those guys are amazing. Actually, one of the producers of that duo was the main collaborator producer on the record. His name's Astrological.
Nice.
So that drops. Then I come back from New York, and then I do another show in Vancouver, and I curate a music festival back home in Nelson, BC.
Nice.
So I'm picking up my sweetheart when I go back to New York, bringing him to Vancouver and Nelson for the first time, which I'm really excited about because he's also a visual artist. So, and it's like a mural festival. So he's going to do like live painting.
Nice.
And I'm going to be like hosting, teaching a workshop. You know, honestly, like one of my favorite things in the world to do is just go into the woods and listen. Like not to the sounds of everything in the city, but just like to the sounds of nothing. Like
a tree
birds.
falling?
Not a tree falling necessarily, but yeah, that could happen. But like the wind in the leaves, like I find so much inspiration in silence. Like I am inspired by the city because I'm inspired by the humans that like are in the city. But as far as like the actual concrete jungle of the city, like it's really hard for me to feel like that same connection that I do when I'm in the woods.
You probably do like a lot of shrooms, don't you?
I sound like it, right? To be honest, no, I don't. I don't do a lot of shrooms, but I get high from like meditating, doing yoga, smoking weed, not super often. You know, for the young viewers out there, you know, a little sativa is always good for this honey. No, but yeah, getting stoned and just like walking in the woods is one of my favorite things ever.
Nice.
Or just swimming, starfishing, like laying flat on my back and just letting the sun hit me.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I'll go back to Nelson and then I'll take like 4 days to just go camping and chill out. And then
Wait, how big is this town? Like you said, it's a small town, but like how many people?
like 17,000.
Oh, wow.
In the middle of the woods.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, it's nice.
Is it like culty at all?
Yeah, there's like those, what do they call? Oh, I love this term. White light warriors.
What the fuck's a white light?
It's like classic like white hippies with dreads that are like, everything's fine. We love everybody. Like all lives matter. Like we're inclusive. You're like, yeah, you've never left your small town ever. And everything that you're doing is offensive.
Yeah.
They're like, have like an Om symbol necklace on and then like a Tibetan robe with like, you know, it's like all of the different things. But like, you know, bless them. Like, hopefully they'll find their way.
That sounds like a small town that would have like a movie that has like a mystery that takes place or something.
Oh, like that kind of a cult. Yeah.
Maybe. Like, have you seen, do you watch movies?
Sometimes.
You probably haven't seen this then. Have you seen Tusk?
No. But I'm trying to think. I was watching a show where they had this like weird, it was like this weird seance thing that was happening. It was like a bunch of weird like hippie guys in the woods. And I'm trying to remember what show it was because it was hilarious.
Oh. But Tusk has Johnny Depp in it.
Okay.
It's a Canadian movie, and then randomly Johnny Depp's in it. Like he's like in it for like 20 minutes.
Right.
But
they like only had the budget to have him like for a little bit.
And he's in like he's in like a costume the entire time, so it doesn't look like him. But it's about like a small town thing that's really fucked. Anyways, interesting. It's a crazy horror. You don't like horror movies?
No.
Yeah, you don't want to watch Tusk.
I know. I'm not a big movie person. I'm like, what do I do? You know, I spend a lot of time like being an independent artist. Yeah. I don't always travel. This summer has been the busiest yet for a very long time, especially post-pandemic. Like when the pandemic hit and when I was recording the vocals for this album, I was living on 4 acres back home in this small town. Like nobody around except for this wonderful angel of a 73-year-old like feminist old stoner hippie woman who like let me stay in her garage suite on this land and like taught me how to garden and grow food.
Damn.
And I literally just chilled there.
During the pandemic or something?
Yeah.
That's fucking awesome.
I know. I'm super grateful. Honestly, I couldn't stay in the city. I was living in Vancouver and I was like, I need to get out.
Yeah.
And then I called my grandma, my stepmom's mom, and she was like, within 2 phone calls, the lady was like, come on over. And then originally it was just supposed to be for 2 weeks, but then I kept being like, can I stay for longer? And then she's like, okay, fine, like 3 months or whatever. And then she's like, okay, so you're going to plant your garden? And I was like, well, does that mean I get to stay to the fall? Like, it was like a little nerve wracking because I never knew when I had to leave. But yeah, it was like 4 acres of land on the river. And yeah, it was really great. I love like not moving around and being so busy.
Yeah.
Yeah. But also it's like when you have a gift and like people need to feel it and experience it, it's like you have to bring the music to the people too, you know?
Mm-hmm. That's fucking awesome. I wish I had. I guess I was living in the woods but in a house.
Yeah.
Like the closest town was like, granted there was like a neighborhood in the woods.
Yeah.
But like the closest town was like 15 minutes away. So that's where amazing. I stayed during COVID.
Good for you.
Yeah.
We all need to slow down, man.
Yeah.
We spend too much time like going so fast all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah. When was the last time that you really like got to chill?
I think over a year ago now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you ever just like turn off your phone for a day?
No, I don't have time to do that.
Yeah, me neither. But like
that would be cool.
Yeah, I think I'm going to. Like I'm planning for it in August. I'm like, yeah. Or like even just like a couple hours in the morning, like, or even just like 10 minutes. Like don't turn on your phone as soon as you wake up and just like chill. Like,
oh shit. It's almost actually been a whole year because my anniversary is coming up. My podcast anniversary is on August 18th. And last August 18th, I had this thing where I had, over the course of a week, 15 different people come to my cabin and stay with me.
Oh my God, that's so cool. You were in a cabin in the woods.
Yeah. And that was awesome. And I made a mental note to like remember that moment.
Oh,
and
wow.
now I was like, this is going to fly by, but now I'm remembering that moment like right now.
Wow.
So that's kind of, but that was like almost a year ago now. So it's like, damn.
Yeah, it's a good little reminder. Can you still have that cabin?
Yeah.
You can go there anytime?
Yeah, it's my family's though. So it's like if my family's there or not too. So I have to like ask if who's there at that moment. But
make a plan, man.
Yeah. Damn, it's been a year. That's kind of wild.
Yeah. Yeah, we forget. Yeah. I got to experience that feeling of slowing down time because I had a day off in Saskatoon, Saskatchewan, in the prairies.
Where the fuck is that?
It's
is that Canada?
Literally, it's in Canada, but it's like a very far, far, far place from here. I feel like it would be like a 20-hour drive.
You'll probably like Voxeria. They're very like hippie.
Oh,
and all their music's very hippie.
Oh, yeah. I'm sure I will.
Yeah.
But yeah, I got to just like be there. Sorry, that was me. I was like, do I have something?
That's cool.
No, maybe. I don't know. It's zooming in on me. No, I'm just kidding. Yeah, I got to just like chill by the river for a day. And it was so funny because my host, the person who brought me there, was like so excited to hang out.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, let's like smoke a joint and just like chill. But it was like so much talking and we were on stand-up paddle boards. And I was like, at a certain point, I was like, is it okay if we just have like a silent meditation moment?
Yeah.
And he was like, yo, I love meditating all day. And I was like, great, thanks. Okay. And then it was like a few minutes and I was like, okay, awesome. So now I'm just going to walk over there by myself now. Okay, cool. That's okay, right? Yeah. Okay. And I did. And I just like walked and I just looked everywhere that I walked. And there's something so simple about just being present when you're walking.
Yeah.
There's actually something called walking meditation.
Oh.
It's really important. You just walk.
But do you like look up when you're walking or do you look down?
I mean, at that time I was looking down because it was so cool. It was like right by the river. So like where the river once was, like, you know how the river changes all the time. So it's like all these different grooves and stuff. And I just loved looking at it. So I just did that. Yeah. And it was great. And it felt like for a minute, like time didn't exist because I didn't have to be anywhere.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fuck yeah.
Feeling.
With that, what is some final advice that you have for up-and-coming artists, creators, influencers?
Oh, influencers. Well, I got nothing for y'all. No, I'm just kidding. Influence. Just keep on influencing. For up-and-coming artists, some advice. Okay. Make your art first for yourself. Like, give it back to you. Because I feel like it took me way too long to figure that out. I was like, it's for the people. It's for the people. And then I was like, wait a minute. I can make art for me? Like, what a concept. It feels so good. So, yeah. And as much as you can, just be your authentic self. And that takes work to get there. But whatever it takes, you know? Have your like warm up and warm down routine. So like for singers, you know? like warming up your voice, getting connected to your body, and then also doing it out. Like for me, when I finish a show, I can't like, I do say hi to the people in the crowd, but then I also need like the time to like bottle it up and like, you know, because we just gave all of our energy away. So we got to like figure out a way to wind down without drugs and alcohol, ideally.
Yeah.
Yeah, like having routine for me, like routine, ritual, consistency, like those things are so important. Like you're talking about your yoga that you did today, like having breathing stuff or meditation stuff or whatever it is, just like if there's anything that you can do that you know helps you feel grounded, to try and keep those things on the road and be intentional about who you make art with and how you make art. I mean, I guess that's not for everybody, but for me, that really works. Like, just like having intention. Because I feel like it just usually, like even setting up the space for a writing session, whether that's like lighting a candle or like just being like, you know, starting the session off by like acknowledging everyone in the room and just telling everyone how grateful you are that they're there, or like offering food or tea or just like little things to just like let people know that they are important to you. Because like I think too many folks focus on like the outcome of a writing session even too, and not just like the energy of being able to write with other people in the space and like knowing like no matter what comes out of writing a song together, just having the experience of doing that is going to benefit you massively, because somebody's sharing like an intimate part of their art with you.
I should do that with my podcast studio, like have someone choose out a type of tea or something.
Oh, that's so cute. I know. Yeah. That's why I was like, should we get some tea?
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm Italian and Jewish.
I'm Italian.
Oh, yeah. See, it's all about like feeding people and like bringing them into your home and like making sure they're comfortable. So like whatever that is, like for you with your writing routines or like having a personal conversation, or like even for my shows, like I always like set up my flowers and like light a candle and like have my little like ritual that I do before I perform. And I just think that those things help to keep me grounded.
For sure.
I think the most stressed and unhealthy that I've ever been was when I'm thinking about the future or like spending too much time on my computer, like focusing on the shit that is like, okay, this is important. But like if I don't take pauses to refill my cup, whether that's like going into nature, having a phone call with a friend, like playing piano, spending time with my lover, like whatever, you know, then I'm just going to like crash and burn. And like all of those tasks feel like they take so much longer, and they do, because it's like, I need to have that like reset button. And like, remember what you do it for. Like, why do you do it? Why are you an artist? Is it like because it makes you feel good? Because you like making other people feel good? Is it because you want money? Like, cool, you know, good luck. Also, but like, at least you know that, you know what I mean? So then like move from that place, like know and define what your values are. Like, what are your core values and why are you here? Yeah.
100%.
That's it.
Hell yeah. With that, what is the easiest way for people to find you and reach you?
Sweet. The DELLAKIT, the Della Kit, which I never told you the origin story of my name, but we can save that till next time.
Yes. This is the NAST podcast with
the Della Kit. Yay. Thanks for having me.
We did it.